Okay, here with Robert Slovak, man, the water guy. I mean, you know a lot about water, man. But this topic I had to bring because there's a craze about I can't even say it right now. Deuterium depleted water. It's a tongue twister, but literally, this is something that probably most people haven't heard about unless you're in our space. And it's a craze. You know a lot about water, so you know a lot about this topic. So I want you to tell them what this means, how this got started, and how it could affect them.
Well, I followed this for 20 years, and it is a discovery that's post-World War II. The first studies came out from the Russians in 1961. And, you know, World War II was largely about making the opposite of this, making heavy water,
right.
Not light water, not deuterium depleted, but deuterium rich. Because beneath the wars and battles of World War II was the race to make an atomic bomb. And you can't make an atomic bomb.
So they were making this water for that purpose.
Not this water, but the opposite. Deuterium
my point,
concentrated.
That water, concentrated.
Heavy
water, right. Okay, first of all, let's back up 1 second. What the heck is deuterium?
Okay, so deuterium is the second heavy isotope of hydrogen. So we always say H2O, 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 but water is really three different molecules. And the molecules involve the second isotope of hydrogen, which is deuterium. Okay. And the first isotope, even though we call it hydrogen, we call them all hydrogen, it's because it's just a habit that was wrong. It's really called protium. The proton plus an electron is really protium. The next heavier isotope is called deuterium. And then there's one more called tritium that there's so little of nobody bothers. So the Russians, after World War II, and all this concentration on making deuterium, making heavy water, some scientists go, you know, even though there's only 6 drops in a liter of water, 6 drops of deuterium, that can't be a big deal, can it? And everybody said, probably not. 6 drops. But the Russian scientists, who are always smarter than the rest of us, they said, we're going to see what happens to plants and animals when you take the deuterium out.
Okay, now is deuterium in all water?
All water on Earth.
Right, exactly. So
about 150 parts.
And they were trying to create at that point of water that had more deuterium for nuclear purposes.
The industry and military, but
right.
These scientists said, what happens when you use and try with biological organisms?
Okay.
We take it all out. Most people thought nothing was going to happen, but laboratory animals radically increased their lifespan.
That's incredible.
And plants germinated faster, germinated bigger, everything. And everybody says, oh, that's a nice finding. That's pretty remarkable. Why does that happen? And it was silence for 60 years.
Now, I know the answer to these questions, but okay, you can't filter deuterium.
Can't.
Okay, so
not RO, not distillation.
Nothing, right, because I know that would be a question. Okay, so how are they getting it out of the water?
Okay, you do it like you are, you know what a cracking tower is for hydrocarbons, for oil? You start with crude oil that you take out of the well, and then you start making gasoline and benzene and the lighter alcohols and so on. Mm-hmm. It's called a cracking tower. It's a fractional distillation process. Okay. So you're boiling the water, and you boil it in a tube that's 50 to 70 feet high.
Oh, wow.
And only the heavy molecules just kind of linger at the bottom, and the next lighter ones, and the next lighter ones, and only the water that's the lightest, only protium atoms, makes it to the top. You condense it, and that's what goes in this bottle.
That's crazy.
And it's very expensive to make.
What did they? Yeah, we're going to talk about that because it's hard to get this because it's very expensive to make. Okay, so how does it affect humans? You mentioned plants. Meaning, okay, we take the deuterium out of the water, so now humans are drinking this water. What's happening at the cellular level? I mean, how does it affect them?
More than that, it's happening at the mitochondrial level.
Much as in the cell.
And in the mitochondria, and you're as aware of this as anyone, you have a mitochondrial membrane. It's taking in protons from the cytoplasm, etc., into what's called, I don't know if you ever heard, a nanomotor. It's an actual physical motor made of amino acids that spins at 9,000 RPM. This is what no one knew until 2 years ago.
Oh, interesting.
Okay? And what happens, what would you do if you had a Ferrari, but you may have a Ferrari, what would you do if you took out one piston of the Ferrari, doubled its weight, because deuterium's twice the weight of hydrogen.
Well, you'd
That's
probably
what-
blow up the engine.
You got it. So you blow up the nanomotor with deuterium.
Interesting.
And so it's taking in hydrogen, the nanomotor, shifting it into the ATP synthase reaction, electron transport chain, make ATP. But all of a sudden, along comes the deuterium. It's just part of the water.
Yeah, I look. I want to play devil's advocate a
Right.
second because so I mean, if all water has deuterium, then our God didn't make mistakes, man. So our bodies have to be set up to deal with this problem.
This is the question that all the maniacs have asked. How come? I'm serious.
Okay.
How? And that was my first question. I'm going. That was my first doubt. How did this not get fixed in evolution somehow? How come there wasn't a workaround for this? Okay. My only answer to myself, I'm not sure it's the right one, is that it's too foundational for the body to have a body tried. But your body's mostly water. Of a cell, 98.8% of the molecules of a cell are water. How do you work around that? Are you with me?
Yeah.
How do you work around your house burning down?
Yeah.
You build a new house, okay? It's gonna go.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like that. It's too big of a part of your existing body design.
Yeah, and again, the body deals with it. Obviously, we wouldn't be living, but when you take it away, it's just this freedom that, obviously something the body doesn't have to deal with it, right? And then when you have other stressors, it's going to deal with the deuterium even less.
Correct.
And more damage and hurt.
Precisely.
Okay.
So mitochondria, in a way, is almost a new definition of aging.
Right.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Compare.
Every conference we come to, it's about the mitochondria.
I don't think you have a grandson yet, but when you see your grandson and you see your father and you say, what's the difference between those two? You can't stop the grandson from running around and your father's
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
The number and the health of it.
So you lose 1% per year, okay, of your mitochondria, and it's over.
Yeah.
And this prevents, and it's that 1%
Okay,
is due to deuterium.
so now look, people are gonna be like, hey, I want that water. Okay, you already made a point that how many people on the planet actually
Could get this?
could get this?
Less than 30,000.
Yeah, okay. So,
It's not even a market.
yeah, it's not even a market. So what are you doing in this business, man?
Well, that's what Joe
I mean,
Mercola asked me.
Yeah, he's been in the water business as long as